Back when I was a kid, you used to get a haircut once a week. Your father would give you a few bucks and you walked to the barbershop.
Whether it's a crew cut or buzz cut or something called the usual, generations of men of all ages have gotten their hair trimmed at the hands of licensed barbers.
It tickles.
You talk to people that have the same interests you have. Talk sports, talk politics.
But by the 1990s, there were only a few hundred licensed barbers left in New Hampshire compared to several thousand beauticians. And when Dave Karen wanted to learn the trade, the nearest barber-only school was in Maine, and it's closed since then. A dozen years later, using chairs from the 1920s and tools modeled after that same era, his students are re-energizing the tradition, sharpening their skills on customers at his New England School of Barbering.
We have old equipment, we teach old school principles, but yet we also prepare you for the modern world.
Students start each day with 3 hours of classroom work to learn the health and safety standards and regulations and the business and the technical aspects of the trade. New Hampshire is one of a handful of states to allow a barber to be licensed after 800 hours of schooling instead of the standard 1,500 for cosmetologists, because barbers don't necessarily need the chemical training for perms and coloring. They'll take their state exam using a mannequin, giving it a cut, a shave, and a massage. But Dave prefers they practice on the real thing.
Most of our hair cutting is done shear over comb. We use clippers, obviously, for tapering, and we do clipper over comb, too. We do a lot of razor cuts, cutting hair with a straight razor. We do a lot of shaving, shaving of the face, shaving around the ears.
We're trying to bring back the tradition of shaving with a straight razor, which has always been in barbershops.
Yep. You're lathering them up right now?
Yep. Try and stimulate the hair follicles, get them to soften up a little bit. It's a whole lot nicer. You get to relax. Sometimes you fall asleep. It's good stuff.
From the steam towel to the warm lather from the old latherizer, it's a service that never seems to go out of style.
To me, shaving is the one key component to being a barber.
How's it feeling?
Good. Nice.
Did I wake you up?
Oh, maybe a little.
It's unfortunate, and it's harder and harder to find a barber. You go in, get a nice haircut, and they send you on your way. It's like, what about the next shave? Oh, well, we don't do that here. To me, that's like the best part of the shave is the warm lather around the neck and around the ears, trimming it up, and that really finishes off the haircut. And I was like, this is what I want to do. This is what I got to do.
When Mike got out of the military, he went looking for a less stressful job. He's finishing up his master's license in barbering.
From my first day of school here to what I've done now is night and day. I mean, when I was in the military, I cut my soldiers' hairs when they didn't get a haircut. And they usually only did that once.
Dave Karen cut hair unofficially in the military, too. His love of both is parked outside his school. After retiring from the military and then a state job in the late 90s, he bought his own shop in downtown Concord. It had been in business since the 1800s, one of 32 shops in Concord back in the day, when it was a trade to learn coming back from war. It's another tradition that's coming back around. Dave still works here 2 days a week alongside some of his own barber school graduates, like veteran Doug Stone.
You make a very good salary. There's not a lot of jobs you can go, and you can go out of school 5 months into school and get out and work and actually make a very good living.
And just use the corner of your blade to remove that. Okay?
Many of his students are non-traditional. His wife, Cynthia, is part of the growing trend of female barbers, and she's now getting her instructor's license as well.
So I'm going to start the taper from the bottom up. As we always teach you guys, we're going to go in and then come out in a long C shape. That's the straight cut and then the taper come out right.
Students are all ages, and for some it's a second or third career. It took Brian being laid off after 30 years in another industry to become a third-generation barber.
My grandfather was a barber in Pembroke, New Hampshire for as long as I could remember as a kid. Made a very good living. My father has been a barber my entire life. He supported a wife and 4 children made a good living. And just currently my sister, who's 15 years younger than me, she's been a barber now for about 5 years. She has taken over my dad's barbershop.
Lee is a Vietnam veteran and retired state worker who already looks the part.
You have to want to be able to cut the hair and do a good job while you're talking. I mean, when you go to a beauty shop, they talk relationships. You go to a barber shop, we talk politics, hunting, fishing, and sports.
What do you do for them now?
Right now, I feel artillery.
It was Lee, a student at the school, who put it this way. Women go to beauticians so they look good. Men go to barbershops so they don't look as bad.
If you like people and you like to talk to people, barbering's the way to go. I mean, we're here.
What about cutting the hair, though?
Well, that's fun too.